Hello and welcome, everybody. It is I, Sylvia Hartman, coming to you live from beautiful Eastbourne by the sea. And today we have a fine thing that I'm going to be enjoying talking about. I talk about things from the energy perspective, from a different matrix that isn't based on just 5 senses, but instead on 6. And that is a game changer. And it's a much more pleasant place to be, more reasonable, more rational, more fun. And that's the most important thing of all, because our happiness matters. I'm going to say a wonderful good morning to dear Ilka, Marina, Paul, Lioness, and Jamila, and of course to dear Ray. Hello, welcome, everybody, welcome. Yeah, so it's been a interesting week. I finished the Tapping into Star Matrix Masterclass set. That was a group of 4 units and exploring, having some fun in the greater universe. And it was success themed, and that was rather interesting. It was I really enjoy doing the masterclasses. I absolutely, of course, love talking about the basics and explaining things to people. But I like to, be the gift that only I would have to give once in a while. And I know a lot of things about a lot of things. I have a lot of experience with a lot of things. And it's nice that these masterclasses are giving me an opportunity to, what's that expression? Trot my stuff fantastic? Yeah. But this morning we are here for energy show number 117, I believe it is. That's an achievement. That's success in and of itself. And I'm really glad to be here with you guys this morning. So, the message: you are not who you think you are. When you hear that, where do you feel that in your body? Show me with your hands. Does that frighten you? Does that worry you? Does that scare you that you are not who you think you are? Well, it's one of those things that I have found the most freeing of messages. The most important message is that you're not who you think you are. And, well, all things always start with ourselves first. So I'm not entirely sure what I used to think I was. But I'm pretty sure after all that time spent in the psychology indoctrination, the total brainwashing of the Western world, that you are only defined by your traumas. And I have many traumas, many traumas. In a trauma competition, I'm pretty sure I'd get into the top 10 somewhere along the line. Yeah. We're supposed to define ourselves by our traumas, our victimhoods, the wrongdoings that were bestowed upon us, and we're survivors of this, that, and the other. I mean, seriously. The prophets are weeping at the thought of us being survivors as a sort of a baseline. Survivors of bad child care and never got enough love and all that trauma. Terrible. Yeah. I didn't really ever believe in that, even though I was trying to, you know, be a good person, be a good person in the various psychology courses and trainings and lectures and things that I sort of attended over the years. And it's kind of weird, really. But, but, and here's the big but, the big but. I was always quite dubious about the various labels that were put upon me. That I should be a certain thing because I have a certain label stuck upon me. Whatever that may be, you know, I'm not even going to get into it, what kind of labels. You can label yourself in all sorts of ways. And a lot of these labels are very conflicting. And then we have the different aspects who are sometimes good. I'm going to say this quote from Blackadder. It's from a British TV show. And the guy says, I am a complicated person. Sometimes I'm nice and sometimes I'm nasty. And that really sums it up for everything that we might ever do. We may be, you know, a good driver for 1,000,000 miles, and then we have one accident. And then what are you now? Are you a good driver or are you a bad driver? And then we have these crazy ideas of parts, that we have parts of us that are in conflict with each other, like the good driver is in conflict with the bad driver. And there used to be this really appalling NLP technique where you put one part in one hand and one part in the other, and then you smash them together. And I will not even demonstrate this because energetically, that is just so appalling. My aspect nearly threw up when she saw that. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy, to create parts of ourselves that are, you know, separate. But the thing is, we can do that as human beings. We can do that. We can create separate parts of ourselves and then act within the confines of those. Like you were an actor and you're playing a role. And a really good actor becomes the person he's playing or she's playing. And yeah, there are so many crazy things that human beings can do and experience, and it just doesn't fit into just these little categories. And then you have these different boxes and they're all at war with each other, and it creates this just weirdness. Almost everybody walks around with this weirdness as their self-concept, their self-construct. And then, of course, when you get stressed, it gets even weirder. When you are less stressed, it gets a little bit better, more cohesive, more positive. But in general, there is a system here that is so chaotic, so randomly constructed, that the only way forward with that is a tabula rasa. Tabula rasa means an empty table. So if we were to take all these ideas of who we are and put them on this giant table, and then try and sort them out into something that makes sense in some shape or form, this is literally impossible. You can't do it like that. And that was where I got this tremendous relief from this idea that was given to me actually in a dream. In a dream, I was dreaming that I was in my house doing some cooking or something, and there was a big, loud knock on the door, really resounding knock on the door. And in the dream, I went and opened the door, and outside, instead of the normal road, there was this swirling, multiple, colorful dimension with a big sort of sun in the corner. And this messenger stood outside, a hooded figure, and they said to me in this rather booming voice, "You are not who you think you are." And yeah, and I just woke up, sat straight up in the bed. Whoa, what was that? But what I realize now with hindsight, this happened after a lot of the NLP training and a lot of this problem with the parts and the parts integration and all this stuff. And so for me at that point, the concept that, hey, you're not who you think you are, but I think I'm this. Well, you're not that. You're something else. Was incredibly stress relieving. It was stress relieving just to clear the table and say, okay, I don't know who I am. Fair enough. Whatever I am, I don't know what that is yet, but perhaps I can find out more. Perhaps I can find out more about who I am. I think that's a really great starting point to clear the table. Not just for yourself, but starting with yourself to clear the table and say, all right. I've been around the block a few times. I'm 63. I don't know how old you are. Don't matter. Doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter. You've had all these weird ideas, all these weird concepts. People have said things to you, and sometimes they go in like an arrow, positive or negative, whichever the case may be. And all these different pieces floating about. And so let us just go to this place where we don't know yet. I don't know who you are, but I would like to know you. Reveal yourself to me. Let me discover you. Let me discover who you are. Let me find out. Let me not be prejudiced. No tittle-tattle, no Chinese whispers of the ages. Let us try and find some evidence, some concrete evidence that can help us. But while we're doing this investigation, keep in mind that after all of that, you probably still won't know who you are. And whatever you think you are, think is the operative word here. Whatever you think you are is most likely way too limited. When I say that, how does that feel? How do you feel about that? Can you get a sense of that relief of just saying, okay, I am not who I think I am. Thinking is a fine thing. I'm sure if the great creative order has a sense of humor, giving people the ability to think is that they're still rolling around laughing on some multi-level universe, flailing their tentacles. Thinking is a fun thing. And when I say, I don't know who I think I am not who I think I am, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll never know who you are. It's just that the thinking needs to be opened up. That needs to be expanded. Oh, that's quite interesting. Paul, good morning, Paul. I received my wake-up call watching The Lion King, where Mufasa, Cloud Spirit, said, "You are more than you have become." Ooh, that's an interesting thing. You are more than you have become. Well, yeah, that's one of the problems, isn't it? If we think we are a certain thing, like, I don't know, a criminal or a homeless person or, I don't know, social justice warrior. If we think we are a certain thing, we immediately limit so many options. There's so many things that you can't do anymore. And that's one of the biggest problems with thinking that you know who you are or what you can do, what you achieve, what you are. That's the biggest problem. It limits that sort of thinking limits your thinking. So even your thinking can no longer think its way out of this thing because it's just now structurally too limited. It's a really fascinating thing. Would you like to do a little exercise that is relevant in the context? I am a big fan of this exercise. So, for a moment, think about the concept of infinity. Just make an internal representation of infinity. Whichever way, when I say to you, think about infinity, that will be presented to you. What you experience when I say that word, think about infinity. Tune into that. And if you are energy enabled, by all means, take that infinity energy and let it run in, through, and out your living energy body. Infinity. Beautiful, beautiful word, infinity. Let's take a deep breath. And I'm guessing you wouldn't be too surprised if I was to say that your concept of infinity is probably a little bit on the small side. So I'm going to invite you to now expand your concept of infinity, to allow that to expand. Taking a deep breath in and out always helps with that. Make it bigger. Make it wider. Make it deeper. Make it higher. Just expand that concept of infinity. So now you've got a bigger infinity than you had before. Cool. Would it surprise you if I told you that infinity is probably bigger than that? True infinity. So let's do it again. Let us expand that concept of infinity just one more time. Just allow that to happen, to really unfold and expand. And in this expanded infinity, just connect with that energy. Breathe it in. And so, while you're enjoying that, I would advise you that you can do this exercise every day for the rest of your life. And your concept of infinity will probably still be way too small. Now, I personally find that thought incredibly soothing. I find the idea that I will never know the mind of God soothing. I don't find that upsetting. I don't find that it makes me feel small. I am a human being, a living human being. I love it that I will never know the mind of God. That I don't have to compete with the great creative order. That I can be just a simple human being in this extraordinary universe we live in, we find ourselves in this extraordinary life. And that all I have to do is to not even compete with myself or any other human being, but just try and use the gifts that I was given by the great creative order to the best of my abilities, and to know that a being such as myself could not possibly be expected to, in some strange way, compete with the great creative order who made the stars in the sky and all the galaxies and everything. You know, the flowers and the trees and the ants and the grains of sand. And us. I find it soothing. I feel sorry for people who literally think that they somehow have got to outsmart the great creative order. That is somehow in the brief of being a human being. I feel sorry for people who think that way. Of course they're going to go completely crazy. It's completely nonsensical to me. And so, if you can handle the idea of this exercise in infinity, expanding infinity for the rest of your life, and never ever even getting close to how big infinity actually is, if you can handle that idea, then I can invite you to play the same game, starting with, you are not who you think you are. You are not who you think you are. It's the same game. Make a representation of yourself, any which way you want to do that, like you did with infinity. You. Make a thing, an entity that is you. Your understanding, your current understanding of you right at this moment. Ah, we could raise some energy first, do a bit of dancing, laughing, telling some funny stories. Perhaps your internal representation of you gets happier, gets bigger, gets brighter. But either way, I would like you to expand that concept. Because it being a concept and us being human beings, it's probably way too small. Allow that concept of you to expand. It may expand in any direction, any dimension, in any way that feels good and right and true to you right now. Perhaps it needs to change its shape. Perhaps it needs to change its color to expand into new multi-radiant dimensions. Just let it expand. Have some fun with it. One of the hallmarks of the old 5 sense paradigm is there's no joy in it. Everything's so serious. Serious, like 10 judges with their black cloaks and black wigs walking into a serious courtroom to give somebody a serious death sentence. Everything's so serious, goddammit. In the 6th sense paradigm, it doesn't have to be that way. Here, we can be expansive. We can demand lightness, happiness, joy, laughter, love. Ooh, there's that word. Love. Let's expand your self-concept one more time. Let's just feed it with love. Your love The love of everyone who has ever smiled at you, loved you, said thank you to you. That sort of love. The love of every puppy or cat or horse or pet that has ever been happy to see you. The love of any plant that has ever been happy when you gave it water. The love of any river, ocean, sea, or lake that was joyous when you touched it. The love of every starry night, every moonrise, and every single quantum of sunshine that ever fell upon you and touched you. All that love, let that expand your self-concept. And take a moment to enjoy that, to be astonished by it, to breathe it in, to look around and check it out, to think about it if you wish. And while you're enjoying this, would you be surprised if I told you that you did that exercise again tomorrow? And for the rest of your life, and you still wouldn't know how extraordinary and glorious you actually really are. Take a moment just to be with that thought. Take a moment just to be with that sensation, in that state of expanded awareness. And so really, it's true. You're not who you think you are. I am not who I think I am either. None of us are. And you put us all together, what do you get? Well, you get humanity itself. The race of human beings, the one race. The race of human beings. If every one of us is like that, extraordinary, unknowable, so expansive, what happens when we connect up all these fields? Do we then change our mind about humanity itself? Do we then become more reverent about humanity itself? More amazed, astonished, perhaps even grateful that we should be here having this experience as human beings, as a part of humanity itself. There needs to be more love. There needs to be more love for yourself, by yourself, for your aspects, by yourself. There needs to be more love from you towards humanity itself. There simply needs to be more love. When we come from a place of love, then the systems we design, the methods we use to bring about change, themselves change radically. From a position of love, everything changes. Instead of destructive, it becomes generative. Instead of chaotic, there's a move towards calming down, but then to rise up on the other side exponentially into a different state of being. And that is where we need to be, each one of us, in our families, in our societies, and as humanity itself, in order to unlock ourselves, unlock our great gifts that we were given by the great creative order. We need to bring more love into the world. Much, much more love. Love is energy. Energy is information. Tasty things for everyone involved. Ah, yes. So, yes, I think that people being down on humanity itself is one of the core problems with humanity. Humanity itself has an absolutely dreadful self-concept, to the point that there are younglings now who do not even want to be human beings anymore. They want to be mermaids or unicorns or, God alone, well, robots with implants in their heads, just so they're not going to be these horrible human beings anymore. And I think we really need to start right there with humanity itself, to appreciate it more. But we can't really get there while we're not appreciating ourselves yet. So that's why I started with that. Yeah, I think that was fun, don't you think? A blessing for humanity, unconditional love for humanity itself. That has got to come back. That has got to come back if it ever existed at all. No, even way back in the Stone Age, we'd have like us and them. We are here and we're good, and they are over there and they're bad and they're trying to steal our mastodons. I don't know what the hell's going on back then. And this lack of understanding that, there is this thing called humanity. This may well be the next step of human evolution, to start appreciating humanity itself and beginning to celebrate that and turning a corner and thinking in a different way. And yeah, well, Star Matrix is the way, isn't it? Star Matrix is the way. I was reading the Star Matrix book this morning, and if you haven't got this yet, please purchase it ASAP. Amazing. Star Matrix is the way. And if you have already purchased it, I recommend you bring it out and you read it afresh. It may be a year or so ago that you've read it for the first time, and it really does bear reading afresh. I got a lot out of it reading it this morning, I have to say. Yeah, okay. So really, that's all I wanted to say this morning. So now we can open up and have a chat to the viewers, the live stream. If you have any comments, any questions, any ideas, any thoughts, please let me know and we'll take it from there. Okay, Paul said, very cool exercise. At first, I felt resistance to letting go of the limitations and labels I used to define myself. Then I felt a release and an insight into how I can. Yeah. Um, in Ilori's Joy, the storytellers, they come on their beautiful spaceships and they turn themselves into some kind of a shape or form that will be acceptable to the inhabitants of the world that they visit. And this is perfectly possible, and doable, and probably the right thing to do. That wherever you go as a modern energist, you can shift into that mode of the people who are there and be among them and love them, understand them and learn from them, have a good time with them, gather new experiences with them. But it doesn't mean you become them, because you're more than that. We can shift and rotate and take, like taking on roles in your life, none of which identifies you, none of which defines you. We are these diamonds that's spinning with all the different facets, all the different colors. And we can be many things. We could be so many things. We can be chameleons, time chameleons. And I believe we are designed to be that. We're meant to be that. If we weren't meant to be that, we wouldn't be doing it, or we couldn't do it, or we couldn't conceptualize it. No, I can be a mermaid, I can be a dragon, I can be anything. But I'm always Sylvia. Marina said, I saw many colors and the white color, which includes all of them, just to start. Yeah, like that, exactly. Yeah, right. Light manifests in all these different experiences and colors. And I mean, light is only light because the way we see. It's just an amazing thing. It's just such an amazing thing. When a human being stands somewhere by an ocean and sees a rainbow in a blue sky, the experience is a combination of that person's design and everything else that's around them. The atmosphere, the water, the way our eyes react to light, the way we process that. And we then stand there and find that beautiful and inspiring. The idea that human beings are alone, or that you are alone, and you're sort of trapped inside yourself, is just so wrong. It's just so wrong. We are an integral part of this tapestry. And none of it would work if we weren't that. We're just amazing. Human beings are amazing. Sorry, get carried away there. See what Ilka said. I felt first that finish where other began, but then I felt lighter, less physical, and like a star full of light connected with everything. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a start. That's a start. Expand it again tomorrow and the day after. And there will come the time, like with the infinity exercise, where you just have this transcendental experience that overrides everything else. And what that does is not giving you a delusion of grandeur you do not have. It is taking you closer to what really is, takes you closer to the truth. And there really is the truth. There really is a great creative order, and we really are a part of it. And the people who will deny this, I feel heartily sorry for. They just haven't had the right experiences to understand and know for themselves. And I would love to, be a part of guiding them towards those universal experiences that just bring you home, that bring you home, bring you back to the Garden of Eden. Literally. Literally. Yeah, that was very cool, wasn't it? Thank you. Oh, all right. Okay. We should probably just do a little blessing. So if you'd like to join me in the heart position, let's take a deep breath in and out. Oh, I love this. I'm going to do this. Okay, take a deep breath in of sparkling, beautiful life energy. Transform that inside of you and now breathe out a field of stars. Very nice. Very well done. Let's just make a concept here of humanity. Humanity itself. An internal representation. And all I'm going to ask of you today is to open your hands and send humanity whatever love you have to give. For sure, I am no angel, but what I have to give, I give to you. I ask none of us to be gurus, teachers, healers, or prophets. I only ask of us to be ourselves, to be the gift that only we would have to give, to do it as best we can. For sure, we are no angels. But what we have to give, we'll give to you. That's all I ever ask of anyone. To be themselves. But not that messed up mess of limited beliefs and other people's ideas. But that expanded self. That is inclusive, that is powerful, that is so much more realistic. So much more realistic. Multidimensional in essence. On a journey, on a path, with a trajectory, with destiny. And that is also really, really beautiful. Yay for human beings. Round of applause for the human race. So much potential. And without putting computer chips in their heads, may I say. I can't see how that can help. Not for people, normal people. Yeah. Hello, Claudia. I don't know if you belong here or not. Well, depends. We like to talk about energy. We have real living energy bodies. which generate our emotions. And the reason they do that is to tell us whether they are working well or not. Cries of pleasure and cries of pain, as it were. We like to do all manner of interesting things from the sixth sense paradigm. So our sixth sense are our emotions. And when we take those into consideration, then we have, different thing. Lots of videos on the channel, Claudia. It's lovely that you've come by. It's wonderful. Hello, welcome. And have a look at some of the other videos. There's a section for sort of introductions and explanations. But basically, we are modern energy. Energy is real, needs to be treated real. People's energy bodies are crying out in pain all over the world, and nobody is treating them because we only have the doctors on the one hand and the psychologists on the other, and it's supposed to be a mind, body, spirit triad. So we are trying to develop methods and ways to make energy bodies feel better. That's what we are all about. Wonderful. All right, guys. So I'm going to love you and leave you with the thought of the expanded self-concept. If you were to walk about in general life and you looked at some people and all of a sudden you kind of think about them slightly differently, perhaps not in, the same way that you used to, or you have a sense of expansion or connection, brotherhood perhaps, that would be wonderful. But I'm not asking any of that of any of us. We are the gifts that only we would have to give, and we are all finding our own path in our own time, each one of us. But it's really nice once in a while when a bunch of us get together and do this thing together, then it's not so lonely anymore. Let us complete with my favorite little thing, and seeing that Claudia is here, she can join us too. We do things in the heart position. We point to the place where you'd say, this is me, I. We put the center of our leading hand over that spot and the other hand on top. That's the heart position. We take a deep breath in and out in that. And we use that to start and finish almost everything we do in modern energy because it's so useful and stabilizing and fun. This is the modern energy affirmation. I have an amazing physical body. I have a beautiful mind. I have a radiant, living energy body. I am a multidimensional being in the oceans of energy. And my happiness matters. Woohoo! Well done, everybody. That was fantastic. Lots and lots and lots of love to you guys. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you again for the next energy show. If you've got some good ideas about what topics I should cover, what I should talk about, what you'd like me to do, please let me know in the comments or just contact me directly. Lots and lots of love. Have a fantastic week. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you soon for next week's energy show, Sunday Live with Sylvia. Bye for now.